The Stoic rule that can transform any situation in life has a way of throwing unexpected challenges our way. Some days, everything seems to go wrong. Your car breaks down, you lose your job, a relationship ends, or you face a health problem. In these difficult moments, we often feel overwhelmed and powerless. We wonder why these things happen to us and wish we could control everything around us. But what if there was a simple rule that could help us handle any situation with calm and strength? The ancient Stoic philosophers discovered a powerful principle over 2,000 years ago. This rule is so simple that you can learn it in 1 minute, yet so profound that it can change your entire life. The Stoic rule is this: focus only on what you can control and accept what you cannot. Understanding control. The first step in applying this rule is understanding what we actually control. Most people believe they control much more than they really do. We think we can control other people's opinions, the weather, the economy, our past, or even the future. But the truth is much simpler and more liberating. According to Stoic philosophy, we truly control only a few things: our thoughts, our reactions, our efforts, and our character. That's it. Everything else falls outside our control. We cannot control what other people think or say. We cannot control traffic, the stock market, or whether it rains on our wedding day. We cannot even fully control the outcomes of our actions, no matter how hard we try. This might sound limiting at first. If we control so little, how can we improve our lives? But this is where the magic happens. When we stop wasting energy on things we cannot control, we suddenly have much more power to change the things we can. The freedom and acceptance. Many people misunderstand what Stoics mean by acceptance. They think it means being passive or giving up. Nothing could be further from the truth. Acceptance doesn't mean you like what's happening or that you stop trying to improve things. It means you recognize reality as it is, without adding unnecessary suffering through resistance. Imagine you're stuck in heavy traffic. You have two choices. You can spend the entire time angry, honking your horn, cursing other drivers, and arriving at your destination stressed and exhausted. Or you can accept that traffic exists, that you cannot make it disappear, and use that time to listen to music, an audiobook, or simply practice breathing calmly. In both scenarios, the traffic is the same, but in one scenario, you suffer twice. Once from the traffic itself, and once from your resistance to it. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This single sentence contains enormous wisdom. Life will bring both good and bad events. Some things will be fair, others unfair. Some days will be easy, others difficult. But your reaction to these events is always within your control, and that reaction determines your experience more than the events themselves. Applying the rule in daily life. Let's look at how this rule works in everyday situations. Suppose you work on an important project for months. You give it your best effort, staying late, checking every detail, putting your heart into it. Then your boss criticizes it harshly in front of your colleagues. You feel humiliated and angry. In this situation, what can you control? You cannot control your boss's reaction or opinion. You cannot control what your colleagues think. You cannot change what already happened. But you can control how you respond. You can choose to see this as feedback rather than a personal attack. You can decide to learn from any valid criticism and ignore what isn't useful. You can maintain your dignity and professionalism. You can choose whether to let this define you or to grow from it. Or consider a relationship that then you cannot control whether someone wants to stay with you. You cannot force someone to love you. You cannot change their decision. But you can control how you process this loss. You can choose to treat yourself with kindness during this difficult time. You can learn lessons that will help future relationships. You can decide whether this ending becomes a story of victimhood or growth. The power of shifting focus. When we consistently practice this rule, something remarkable happens. We stop feeling like victims of circumstance. We stop blaming others for our unhappiness. We stop waiting for external conditions to be perfect before we can feel at peace. Instead, we become active participants in our own lives. We direct our energy toward what actually matters, becoming better people, treating others well, doing our work with excellence, developing our character. These are things we can influence every single day, regardless of what's happening around us. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his private journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He ruled an empire, commanded armies, and faced countless challenges. Yet he recognized that his true power lay not in controlling his vast domain, but in mastering his own responses. Practical steps. To practice this rule, start small. When something frustrating happens today, pause and ask yourself, can I control this? If the answer is no, practice accepting it. Notice how much mental energy you save by not fighting reality. For things you can control, take action. Don't just worry about your health. Exercise and eat well. Don't just complain about a relationship. Communicate clearly and kindly. Don't just stress about work. Do your tasks with focus and care. Keep a daily journal where you identify what worried you and whether those worries were about things within your control. Over time, you'll train your mind to naturally separate what matters from what doesn't. Remember that this is a practice, not a destination. Even Stoic masters struggled with this principle throughout their lives. You won't get it perfect, and that's okay. What matters is that you keep returning to this simple question. Is this within my control? Conclusion: the Stoic rule of focusing on what you control isn't about giving up or becoming emotionless. It's about directing your energy wisely, responding to life with clarity rather than chaos, and finding peace regardless of circumstances. Life will always bring challenges. People will disappoint us. Plans will fail. Loss and difficulty are part of the human experience. But when we stop fighting what we cannot change and focus our power where it actually exists, we discover an unshakable strength within ourselves. This simple rule, practiced consistently, truly can transform any situation, not by changing the world around you, but by changing how you move through that world. And sometimes that makes all the difference.